Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Circle on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Aniti Patrick. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and on StarTimes channel 276. Now the news in details. The Federal High Court in Abuja has sentenced the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, to life imprisonment. The presiding judge, Justice James Omotosho, handed down the sentence on counts 1, 4, 5, and 6, opting for life imprisonment instead of a death penalty. The judge also handed Kanu a 20-year jail term on count 2 and 5 years on count 7. President Bola Tinubu has assured families of the adopted students in Maga, Kebbi State that the federal government will deploy every available resources to secure the girls' release. The president, who was represented by Vice President Kashim Shettima, delivered the message during his visit to the state and condemned the attack, honored those killed, including Brigadier General Musa Uba and Vice Principal Hassan Makuko, and commended security agencies for their sacrifices. The Kebbi State government also dismissed claims by U.S. Congress Riley Moore that the incidents happened in a Christian area, stressing that the adopted students are Muslims. Nigeria's National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, has met with U.S. Congressman Riley Moore and other American officials in Washington, where the U.S. side raised concerns about violence against Christian communities and the growing threats of terrorism in the country. Moore demanded concrete action to protect vulnerable communities and said the U.S. expects measurable progress in addressing attacks by Boko Haram, ISWAP, and armed groups in the Northeast and Middle Belt. He added that the Trump administration and Congress are united in strengthening cooperation with Nigeria, but will closely monitor developments. The House of Representatives says it has done its part to resolve the prolonged pension crisis affecting retired police officers who have been protesting at the National Assembly complex. Chairmen of the House Committees on Police Affairs and Pensions have therefore urged the retirees to remain calm as the legislative process nears its final stage. National Assembly correspondent tells us more. Chairmen of the House Committees on Police Affairs and Pensions, Abubakar Yeleman and Hussaini Jallo, addressed journalists in Abuja, confirming that the Police Pension Amendments Bill has successfully passed all stages in the House of Representatives. The bill, which seeks to remove the Nigerian police force from the contributory pension scheme and establish an independent police pension board, was transmitted to the Senate for concurrence on October 28. Yeleman and Jallo stated that the protesting retirees are fully aware of the steps already taken by lawmakers and appeal for patience as the bill awaits action from the Senate before it can be forwarded to the President for assent.
But God willing, I'm assuring you by next week, this bill is going to go to the presidency for assenting. And we draw your attention, the media, help us engage those veteran police officers who are outside for almost decades of weeks here. So please talk to them, explain to them. We have passed their demand, and Senate too are ready to send it to President for assenting.
So I believe my call for them to assign more restraint and patience and go back to their houses, because inshallah very soon what needs to be done will be done, so that the Senate will pass it and then it will be transmitted to Mr. President.
For now, the lawmakers insist they remain committed to securing a lasting solution, but the final move rests with the Senate. From the National Assembly, Aniti Patrick, reporting for Global TV News. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has stressed the need for collaboration between the South-South Development Commission and the Federal Capital Territory Administration. The minister stated this while receiving a delegation from the South-South Development Commission on a courtesy visit in Abuja. Here's Kabir Hassan with the reports.
The South-South Development Commission delegation, led by Managing Director Usoro Apabio, was at the FCT to strengthen institutional ties and appreciate the minister's support as the new commission begins full-scale operation. Minister Nyesom Wike welcomed the team and urged them to avoid political distraction and work with unity and discipline to deliver meaningful development to the South-South region.
You work tirelessly to achieve the renewed hope agenda in your own region. Do the right thing. Support Mr. President. Support Mr. President. Don't go there now to be divided. No, I'm loyal to Z. I'm loyal to the president that appointed you. Your loyalty is to Mr. President.
The Managing Director of the South-South Development Commission reaffirmed the Commission's readiness to work closely with the FCT administration, deepen collaboration with federal agencies, and implement community-focused projects that aligns with the federal government's renewed hope agenda.
Seek your indulgence to allow us to liaise with you constantly so that America can understand that leadership appointments are a trust, and that you must justify the people's confidence. They come up with you through your guidance to ensure that in this short time that we're here, 4 years, that we make an impact that's positive.
The visit underscores renewed commitment between both institutions to strengthen cooperation, align development priorities, and deliver impactful projects across the South-South region. Kabir Hassan reporting for Global TV News.
The Minister of State for Works, Barrister Mohammed Goronyo, has received a delegation from CGGC Global PLC at the ministry's headquarters in Abuja, representing the Honorable Minister of Works, Engineer David Umahi. He welcomed the team alongside senior officials of the ministry and FEMA. The minister highlighted key areas where the ministry seeks collaboration, including training opportunities for Nigerian engineers in China, provision of modern construction and maintenance equipment, and transfer of advanced road technologies to strengthen Nigeria's road infrastructure. CGGC Vice President He Yongjong expressed interest in supporting Nigeria's infrastructure development. Both parties agreed to set up a joint technical committee to review proposals and explore a clear framework for cooperation. The Minister of State for Works, Mohammed Bello Goronyo, has praised the Sokoto State government for its citizen-driven approach to the 2026 budget, describing the town hall meeting as a commendable model for participatory governance and aligned with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's people-focused agenda. Goronyo commended Governor Ahmed Aliu for the visible infrastructural improvements across Sokoto, noting that the administration's development strides reflect strong synergy with the federal government. He also highlighted President Tinubu's major road projects nationwide, including the Sokoto-Badagry Superhighway, the Coastal Highway, and the Abuja-Kaduna-Zaria-Kano reconstruction, all aimed at boosting connectivity and national growth. The minister further noted ongoing NNPC's funded works on the Sokoto-Gusau, Funtua-Zaria-Kaduna corridor and reaffirmed the federal government's continued support for Sokoto. He said the strong working relationship between Governor Aliu and President Tinubu is delivering real benefits to the state. The Joint Health Sectors Unions, JHESU, said they are ready to suspend their nationwide strike the moment the federal government meets their long-standing demands, raising hopes for a possible end to the crippling industrial action. The National Secretary of the Association, Comrade Martins Egbanubi, disclosed this in an exclusive interview with Global Television's Zarau Nasir. Tells us more.
Health worker strikes can lead to disruptions in service delivery, with patients facing delayed treatment, cancelled appointments, and reduced access to care, which result in negative health outcomes, including increased morbidity and mortality.
The joint health sector unions, which comprise major bodies such as the Medical and Health Workers Union of Nigeria, the Nigerian Union of Allied Health Professionals, the Senior Staff Association of Universities, Teaching Hospitals and Research Institutes, and the Non-Academic Staff Union, explained that the strike did not emerge overnight. According to the Jesus National Secretary, Comrade Martin Ekbanobi, the federal government persistent delay in implementing the adjusted consolidated health salary structure remains the central trigger. He says several welfare and systemic issues have also lingered for years without meaningful resolution.
We are demanding for the implementation of the adjusted consolidated health salary structure, CONHES. One, the approval given a circular issued and the table released for its implementation. Then we discuss the payment plan, because a payment plan also had to be actualized.
So is it
before
only one demand that make you to implement?
Yeah, yes, it's one demand. Of course, we signed an MOU with federal government in October 29, 2024.
He stressed that health workers will remain on strike until the consolidated health salary structure adjustment is implemented and the unresolved issues are addressed, but added that the unions are fully prepared to call up the action once concrete steps are taken.
We had it with the Conciliator General of the Federation, who is the Minister of Labour and Employment, who has the power, based on the Trade Dispute Act, to conciliate on this matter.
How about the meeting?
It was deadlock. We couldn't reach any agreements.
As the strike stretches on, patients across the country continue to bear the brunt. All eyes are now on the government to take decisive action and restore normalcy to the nation's health facilities. Zahra Nasr, reporting for Global TV News.
You're watching the live broadcast of News Cycle. When News Cycle returns, Guinea-Bissau's Embalo faces tough re-election bid after unstoppable first time. Details coming shortly, plus business and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us. Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, this is News Cycle on Global Television. In business, the federal government says Nigeria's successful 4-hour grid synchronization test with the West African Power Pool could earn the country up to 1.49 trillion naira yearly from exporting 600 megawatts of electricity to 15 West African nations. Power Minister Adebayo Adelabo insists the exports will not affect local supply, stressing that the national grid can wheel 8,500 megawatts, far above what is currently generated. He added that with regional tariffs nearly 3 times higher than Nigeria's, full participation in the West African power market could ease liquidity challenges and boost cross-border energy trade. Nigeria has taken a bold step to turn agriculture into a global climate asset as the National Agricultural Land Development Authority, NALDA, pushes a new plan to earn high-value carbon credits from its farm estates. The initiative, unveiled at COP30 side event in Belém, aims to boost farmers' income, expand climate-smart agriculture, and move thousands of rural Nigerians into middle-income brackets. Our correspondent tells us more. At the COP30 side event hosted by NALDA, the agency's executive secretary, Engineer Colinus Adebayo, said Nigeria is positioning its farmers at the center of global climate finance. He explained that each farmer under the Renewed Hope Mega Farm Estates receives 5 hectares of farmland not just to grow food, but to earn from carbon credits generated through structured tree planting and large-scale reforestation.
Our plantations across different ecological zones now represent one of the most promising nature-based climate assets in the country. They hold the potential to generate high integrity carbon removals, attract climate finance, and empower thousands of young people in rural farms. Our presence here today is to spotlight these transformational efforts and outline the ambitious NALDA Plantation Carbon Roadmap.
NALDA also showcased its Plantation Carbon Roadmap, which places more than 20,000 hectares of restored plantations under internationally recognized monitoring, reporting, and verification protocols to guarantee transparency and credibility in the global voluntary carbon market. The side event drew climate negotiators, development partners, financial institutions, private sector leaders, and technical experts, all engaging with NALDA's vision of merging agriculture with climate finance. Aniete Patrick, reporting for Global TV News. And on the foreign scene, Guinea-Bissau heads into Sunday's presidential election amid rising tension as President Umaro Sissoco Embalo faces a strong challenge from Fernando Diaz, with questions still hanging over Embalo's mandate and the country's recent political upheavals. The contest, though featuring 12 candidates, is largely a two-man race overshadowed by military rivalries, a booming cocaine transit trade, and warnings of possible democratic backsliding. But with nearly half the population set to vote, many citizens say the priority is a peaceful, credible election that brings stability and a leader able to tackle insecurity and economic hardship. The United Nations says Sudan is facing one of the world's worst humanitarian crises, with nearly two-thirds of the country now requiring urgent assistance as fighting between the army and the Rapid Support Forces continues. Mukhtar Qasim reports.
The war, now in its second year, has displaced millions and pushed communities towards famine. United Nations Under-Secretary General for Humanitarian Affairs and Emergency Relief Coordinator Tom Fletcher says funding for aid operations is dangerously low, even as hunger, mass displacement, and right abuses rise sharply. He warned that children are suffering the most, with soaring malnutrition and increasing casualties in areas cut off by fighting.
Nearly 2 in every 3 people in Sudan needs aid right now. 11 months into the year, we're at 32% funded of the 4 billion that we need for 2025. And again, as I've described to you after previous visits, I'm seeing the impact, the huge impact, the brutal life and death choices we're making as a result of aid cuts. And just a reminder that all we're asking for to save 114 million lives is 1% of what the world is currently spending on arms and defense.
Spokesman of the United Nations Secretary General Stephen Dujarric noted that the continued flow of weapons into Sudan is fueling the violence, adding that conflict-driven famine has been confirmed by multiple sources multiple times this year, a rare and alarming development.
The last thing Sudan needs now is more flow of arms, more flow of weapons, more flow of drones. We're seeing horrific violations of human rights, horrific violations of international law.
The United Nations is calling for stronger international pressure and immediate funding, warning that without urgent action, Sudan's crisis will deepen and more civilian lives will be lost. Mukhtar Qasim, reporting for Global Television News.
The United States and Saudi Arabia may be moving closer to a breakthrough on normalizing relations with Israel after President Donald Trump and Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman hinted at progress during talks at the White House. Yes, Mukhtar Qasim again with the details.
The Crown Prince said Saudi Arabia wants stronger ties across the Middle East and is open to joining the Abraham Accords, but only if a clear path to a two-state solution is secured. He described his discussion with Trump as healthy, emphasizing that Riyadh still expects movement towards a Palestinian state before finalizing any agreement. Trump also said the two leaders held good talks about potential frameworks including both one-state and two-state solutions.
Today and tomorrow we're going to announce that we are going to increase that $600 billion to almost $1 trillion of investment, real investment and real opportunity by details in many areas. And the agreement that we are signing today in many areas in technology, in AI, in earth materials, magnet, etc., that will create a lot of investment opportunities.
Trump later defended the Crown Prince when asked about the 2018 murder of journalist Jamal Khashoggi, insisting that the Saudi leader knew nothing about it and argued that Washington must maintain strong ties with Riyadh despite lingering controversy.
As far as this gentleman is concerned, he's done a phenomenal job. You're mentioning somebody that was extremely controversial. A lot of people didn't like that gentleman that you're talking about. Whether you like him or didn't like him, things happen. But he knew nothing about it, and we can leave it at that. You don't have to embarrass our guest by asking a question like that.
With both leaders signaling willingness to continue negotiations, attention now shifts to whether the condition for a two-state solution and regional political realities can sustain the momentum towards a historic Saudi-Israel agreement. Mukhtar Qasim, reporting for Global Television News.
In the latest FIFA World Rankings, boosted by a 4-1 win over Gabon and a draw with DR Congo, despite losing the African playoff on penalties. The Super Eagles remain 5th in Africa behind Morocco, Senegal, Egypt and Algeria, and hold a narrow lead over Tunisia ahead of December's African Cup of Nations in Morocco. The rankings update comes as Nigeria seeks to rebuild confidence after missing out on the 2026 World Cup. Morocco's Achraf Hakimi has been crowned African Men's Player of the Year for the first time, beating Mohamed Salah and Victor Osimhen after a standout season with PSG. Chebek of Morocco won the Women's Player of the Year award, while Nigeria's Chiamaka Nadozie claimed her third straight Women's Goalkeeper of the Year title. Morocco dominated the ceremony with multiple wins, including Best Men's Goalkeeper, Best National Team, and Best Young Players. And that's it on News Circle. A quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and on Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across all our social media platforms now showing on your screen using @Global TV NG. I am Aniti Patrick. Have a lovely day ahead of you.